Yes, we're talking about Anthem, but I'm talking to you Warframe players, and whoever else stumbles upon this video. And before it's asked, no EA nor BioWare is paying me to promote Anthem. I really freaking wish they were though. Anyway, on to the point. Do not pre-order Anthem, but keep an eye on it and follow its development because it's looking really freaking promising. Now, I know, it's a game being published by EA. I don't live under a rock. I know they're about as reputable as Stalin. But here's the thing. Anthem might be getting published by EA, but it's being developed by BioWare. You know, BioWare, the makers of Star Wars The Old Republic, the Mass Effect series, and the Dragon Age series. Yes, they also made the train wreck that was Mass Effect Andromeda. And yes, it was a terrible game. But BioWare didn't really have any creative control over what happened with Andromeda. So Andromeda really is a product of EA, not BioWare. It's an old story, but cut short, EA basically took the reins on the Mass Effect series saying, hey, make another one because we want more money. And then of course after it flopped, they put all the blame on BioWare. After all, it's what they do best. But regardless, BioWare is a pretty reputable company if you just take the whole EA stain off of it. So regarding Anthem, why do I believe Anthem is going to be worth at least a try? Well, first off, BioWare is rightfully telling EA to screw off and keep their hands off of it. Compared to Andromeda, BioWare has way more creative control with Anthem. Although that ugly ass EA sticker is still being put on the game's box, this is a pure BioWare game. So if you don't trust EA at all, which you shouldn't, then maybe you'll find some solace in knowing that they basically have no control over how Anthem's going to be taken. Hence why there's going to be basically no microtransactions for anything other than cosmetics. So what about the game itself? Well, before I get too deep into it, I need to say firsthand, most of my information is public information given by the devs, but I also have some information given me by players of the closed alpha, and members of the community dev team. I can't say who they are because that would mean I'm basically writing out who broke their NDA, and I don't feel like getting anyone sued. Basically, anything that I'm saying that isn't public information, you should probably take with a slight pinch of salt. So anyways, the gameplay. Right now, it's looking like a really big mix between Warframe and Destiny, and there's actually a reason to that which I'll get into later. The javelins have weight behind them and you can tell that they're solid suits of metal armor. Flying is really effective and actually really responsive. It's not OP to the point that there's actually no reason to not fly. I like how you can avoid overheating by flying into water. It's a nice use of the environment around you. It'll be a good way to avoid moments of having to land, wait for your thrusters to cool down just to get back into the air. And based off what I've seen from trailers and hidden alpha footage, the general combat's going to be very active and even a bit crazy. Enemies will be very differentiated, there'll be tanks, trash mobs, and various wildlife all out to bring the fight, and they'll actually have a brain. Yes, enemies with actual functioning AI, something Warframe players are going to have to get used to. Normal enemies will take cover and generally use tactics to fight you with minimal risks themselves. Tanks will have heavy armor, heavy artillery, and ballistics and basically try to close the gap on you to put pressure on you. And trash mobs will normally attack you in high numbers, completely ignoring any cover you're taking, thus leaving you having to make sure you don't get overwhelmed. You can be a ranger but be in heavy need of a colossus in order to have someone tank for you. You can be a colossus but need someone to be a scout, that way they can pick off enemies that are shooting at you. Every javelin will have a job that they need to accomplish in order to complete a mission. And the difficulty scales. And the higher the difficulty, the better the rewards, thus having scaling rewards, along with scaling difficulty. So yeah, decent AI enemies, immersive gunplay, strong mobility, and an open world setting. Oh, hold on though, I forgot I'm talking to Warframe players. You all don't care about any of that. You just want to look awesome and fashionable during the whole thing, right? Well, don't worry, because Anthem has you covered with that too. I mean, yeah, sure, it has a grounded story, scaling rewards, scaling challenge, and endgame, but screw all that. Anthem has, dare I say, 10 times more cosmetics than Warframe. Yeah, I said it. You will have access to every color of the freaking rainbow and not have to pay premium currency to unlock color palettes. Cough. You can choose the textures of your javelin. Metal, cloth, leather, stone. You can look like you're fresh out of the factory or war-torn. It's completely up to you. Mix and match helmets, chest piece, arms, legs, and accents like capes, scarves, and robes. There's going to be a really rare chance you find two people that look alike. So if Fashion Frame, and whatever Destiny calls it, is your personal endgame, Anthem's definitely got you covered. Okay, did I mention that EA is not paying me to promote this game? If they were, I would have to be legally obligated to tell you that the video was sponsored. And judging by how empty my food budget is looking, it's very much not sponsored. So why am I pushing so hard for you to give this game a try? Well, put simply, this game looks really freaking good and I actually really want it to succeed. You want to know why this game has so many shared elements between Warframe, Destiny, The Division, and even Borderlands? Because the developers have openly admitted that they're taking inspiration from these games. People always go on and on about how AAA games need to learn from Warframe and how they should try to take business practices from Warframe. Well, they did! And now you're all yelling at them and calling Anthem a copycat and ripoff of Warframe/Destiny. Counterintuitive much? Look, I don't want to give my money to EA as much as the next guy, but boycotting and review bombing Anthem isn't going to stick it to EA. The only people it's going to stick it to is BioWare. And BioWare is one of the last respectable companies under EA. BioWare can make some really damn good games when they have the creative freedom to do so. The Dragon Age and Mass Effect series are a big example of that. But thanks to the train wreck that was Mass Effect Andromeda, their entire public reputation has basically been stained, to say the least. And because of the critical loss that was Mass Effect Andromeda, BioWare is basically now on EA's acceptable losses list. If Anthem fails, BioWare is essentially going to be put on death row. And another thing, do you think the devs at Digital Extremes want that? Do you really think Steve is going to be jumping up and down going, "Hell yeah, our community killed a game before it even had a chance"? No. Given how open and honest the guy is, he's probably going to openly say how disappointed he'd be in all of you. So again, do not pre-order Anthem, unless you're getting a hard copy that you'll be able to return. But follow its development, try to catch a dev stream or two, look into different partners working for the game. Because BioWare is listening. How do I know? Because a lot of the behind the curtain information I'm getting is from Warframe partners. And again, they're under NDA, so I can't tell you who. I mean I can, but I'd rather not get someone sued. But yes, Warframe partners are helping develop Anthem. And not just Warframe partners, but Destiny content creators, Borderlands 2 content creators, even freaking Minecraft YouTubers they're helping create Anthem right now. They're really taking notes on what makes a game great and memorable. The devs are asking these people over and over again, okay, how's this idea sound? How's that idea sound? Will it make this mission better? Will it make this mechanic better? This is going to be a game that's partially made by you, the consumer. So, all I'm asking is to give Anthem a fighting chance. Take it from a founder that gave Warframe a fighting chance 5 years ago. Anthem has potential. Let them show it.